Hello and welcome to this Dawn Busters Taste Challenge. Daylight is arriving here at 6:16 a.m. I would prefer to start 30 minutes before this, but we don't have morning news here earlier than 6 a.m. on Saturday or Sunday. Therefore, I have to wait. Now, there was a time when they did a 5:30 broadcast, but that didn't last. Okay. We've got T.W. Samuel since 1844. I didn't say 1944, 1844. T.W. Samuel's Kentucky blended whiskey, not American. It's specifically from Kentucky. You say, that's just where they bottle it. Wait, you better go read the Tax and Trade Bureau regulations. They're very specific. If it says Kentucky, it must be distilled in Kentucky. Like William Kepley says, it's sometimes what the bottle label says doesn't say that tells you more than what it says. But sometimes it's what it says too. So distilled, blended, and bottled in Kentucky by T.W. Samuel's Distillery. In other words, Heaven Hill, who bought them out. All right. Bucky Dent said, "What's up?" Hello, Bucky. Chilling, drinking a bud. Okay. Now notice, at no point so far did I say the best American blended whiskey or desirable American blended whiskey. Any of those things did I not? I did not say any of those things. I just said it was the oldest, you see, versus 75 South. I think this came out in 2006. Now you say 75 South. What the deuce? Yeah. There is an interstate that runs through Kentucky, Interstate 75. It's strange, though, because this is saying the Founders Company, Louisville, Kentucky. Yeah, that's one of the factories, bottling plants, blending plants, whatever. I think it's pretty big. Owned by Sazerac. But that's Interstate 65 South that runs through there. So I don't know. 75 is further east. I guess maybe this is sold along Interstate 75 that runs from Michigan down to Florida. And they only sell it at liquor stores that are on the southbound side of the road. I don't know. I'm just kidding, because I bought this at Albertsons in Hammond, Louisiana, on US Highway 190 east bound. So this should be called 190 East in my case. No, I don't know. It's just, it's strange, peculiar, odd, weird, and not to mention odd. But you know what? It doesn't matter. You can also buy this, from what I've been told by viewers, you can buy this at Bonds, Jewel Osco, Super Value, Safeway, and all the other liquor outlets that are owned by Albertsons, assuming you live in a state that has that. Now, you see in Florida, Albertsons or Publix or Winn-Dixie has liquor sales. Even Walmart, I believe, but it's in a separate section of the store that you have to walk out of the store and back in through the front door, and it's like the Walmart liquor store. Oh, yeah, I know they have that at Walmart because I went to the one in St. Petersburg, Florida. What am I talking about? Yeah. So, but it's a separate, it's attached, but it's theoretically separate. You know, grocery stores can't sell liquor. Are you mad? Have you lost your mind? This is Florida. But the grocery store, liquor store can sell it. So they do all this little legal fiction stuff. You walk out the store and then through the front door, and then you see you're technically in a different store. Where in Louisiana, there is no such law, and if you go to the Albertsons liquor store in Baton Rouge, it's still a separate part of the building, but you don't have to walk outside and go back in the front door. You can just walk. There's a connection between the grocery store and then you just walk in and there it is. And you don't have to purchase it at the liquor store register. I mean, usually you would because it's there and there's usually not a line. But I have gone in there, bought something, you know, picked something up and then gone and checked out at the front. So, and then the Albertsons in Hammond doesn't even have a separate building. You know, it's just part of the store. It's just there. You're walking around and there's the liquor section. And it has this little chime that goes off while you're in there. I guess motion detector. Ding. Every so often. Ding. That's to let them know there's somebody there. They're probably trying to steal. You know, we do have problems with that in America with thievery. I have a very brutal regard for thievery, people shoplifting and stealing. You know, now my liberal friends will say, no, they do it because they're hungry. They must be thirsty too, because they usually hit the liquor area to steal. Okay. And if you ever look at the people in the store, you would believe very quickly that hunger is not an issue. Maybe obesity, as one author described, waddling colossi. All right, but anyway, enough rant and rave with Ronald. And I shouldn't say a lot, even though I am obviously correct. There's too much 75 South. I'm going to sip it down just a bit. Okay, so but anyway, okay. You want something, buy it. You don't want it, don't buy it. Don't steal it. Don't be a rat. There's too many rats in the world. I don't mean a rat, a tattletale. I mean a rat, like a human rat. Bucky then says, I'm liberal and I think they should be put in jail. See, there's always exceptions to the rule, Bucky. He's probably not socialist, though. He might not be a modern liberal, you know, Marxist Leninist. He might just be like an old time liberal, you know, like kind of like me. All right. You know, the old liberals were anti-war. The new liberals, they never met a war they didn't like. But we're doing it for the children, you understand? It's not personal. We're helping the world. We drop all the bombs to help the people. All right. They're both chestnut, you know, so there's no difference in the appearance, really. Oh, they're both blended at an 80-20 ratio. They're both 80 proof, and they're both from Kentucky. Although you'll notice that the 75 South does not say Kentucky whiskey. It just say blended whiskey. So could it be sourced from Midwest grain products? Oh, yes, there could be a very strong case for that. Because they even told me that they get their grain neutral spirits from, I don't know exclusively, but to a large extent from Midwest grain products. And it just said bottled in Kentucky. It doesn't say distilled and, you know, blended there. So, but they're probably blending it in Kentucky because they're probably buying the base whiskey from Midwest grain products and the base corn distillate, grain neutral spirits they're blending. But the interesting thing is aged for 4 years. At least, could be longer. So the Albertsons, the 75 South is aged at least 4 years, whereas the TW Samuels is 36 months, 3 years. And so they're saying This blended whiskey was created from the finest ingredients. Based on what proof? Well, you can't verify that because that's an opinion, right? Some people actually say that. How can you back that up? You can't. Our traditional process of compounding superior flavors is the pride of the South, the Upper South, and promises to deliver a robust, rare, and exceptional experience. Now, I have drunk about 30% of this bottle. I have drunk about 30. I didn't really notice anything robust about it per se. Rare, I think rare sounds better than saying common or run of the mill, but I don't know what that's coming from. Exceptional. Yeah, it's really exceptional. I mean, so just can't find a whiskey that has this kind of flavor when in fact you really can. I like the label though. It's kind of nice. It's nicer than it ought to be, you know? All right. I got a Southeastern Louisiana University shirt on because they're playing Louisiana State, LSU, the LSU Tigers tonight in football. Oh, that's going to be ooh. Let me make a guarantee, an ironclad guarantee. This taste challenge will be much more challenging than that contest tonight on the football field in Baton Rouge. Okay, that will not be much of a challenge. You say, well, Southeastern cannot win. They have no chance of winning. It's an impossibility. It cannot happen. I agree with that. I think it's possible they could score. But beyond that, you know, it's going to be on national television for some bizarre reason on ESPN2. I don't know what ESPN2, like, what is ESPN? You know, what is Disney? That's who it is, Disney. What are they thinking? I was like, wow, America is dying to watch Southeastern Louisiana at LSU. You say, but what if Southeastern was to win? Yeah, well, they'd be finding a lot of bodies out by the dumpsters, and it'd be like from the movie, that movie, right? If a thing like that happens, Southeastern beating LSU, you just know somebody's getting clipped. So there'd be a lot of disappearances and strange things happen over the next week if that was to happen. A lot of people you wouldn't see no more, but you know that's not going to happen. So, all right. Even if the game is close and comes down to the final minute, you might not see some people anymore. But oh, you know what? I just smelled some sourdough and a lot of cornbread. I don't even just you notice I don't even mention the whiskey burn anymore. Because why mention that? They're all going to have that. They're all 80 proof. I mean, it's going to make a whiskey alcohol burn in your nose. I think I would mention if it didn't do that, you know, because it would be unusual. But they're going to all have that medicinal alcohol, you know, rubbing alcohol to an extent type of thing. This one's much less, though. I have to say that. It's there, but it's not as prominent. This one is like, wow, wow. Bang, 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 bang. Makes me think it's T.W. Samuels, actually. Even has that little melon. Yeah. This has got a lot of corn, but I do believe, and this is initial, this is a preliminary guess. You cannot hold me to this. I think I'm detecting a little rye spice. Now, what do we know about Sazerac? Their whiskeys tend to, not totally, not completely, but they tend to have a slightly higher than average rye content relative to other whiskeys of their ilk. Well, let's go with the taste challenge because I am not confident yet because I'm not sure. I haven't tasted it. Okay. Strange melon. Oh yeah, what about price? You know how much that 75 South costs? $5.99 a bottle. It's so rare and exclusive, you know. Oh, and exceptional. The T.W. Samuels, maybe $8.99 a bottle, but I think it does exist around here for like $6. So they may be the same price, but the 75 South is always $5.99 a bottle because it's only at Albertsons, you know. The T.W. Samuels is at so many different stores, and they'll price it differently. You know what I'm saying? Like some will have it at that bargain basement $6 price. Others will have it for $8.99. Why? Because people will buy it. I'd sell it for $8.99 too if people were constantly buying it and I was having to restock it. Yeah, why would I lower the price? I mean, your argument might be, yeah, but your volume might be even much higher if it was 6. That's true. So you'd have to balance that. Whew, took a little too much of a gulp there. I don't know. It just tastes like it's got Sazerac rye in it. You would really notice that in the Club 400 from Baltimore County, Maryland. That one is just like a calling card. It's like a siren going off. And that's where Pikesville originated. Pikesville Rye Whiskey, one of the old brands from Monumental Distilling of Baltimore County, Maryland. Now it's Majestic Distilling. Same buildings, right next to the railroad track. No tours offered. Closed to the public. A one way in and one way out. It's like a really back channel place, all right? Kind of a hidden, I call those hidden neighborhoods. You'd never go there if you didn't know it existed. Checking in at 7:30 Eastern, Tour Nation Game and TNG. Hello, man. Hello. All right, I think this is the Sazerac. Yeah, I think this is 75 South, and I think that is the T.W. Samuels. Now, which one's better? Well, I don't know. I find that Heaven Hill blended whiskeys have this strange melon, honeydew melon or cantaloupe flavor. And I do not believe that that is an appropriate flavor for whiskey. I don't care if it's blended, straight, bonded. You know what I mean? Like something is weird about that. And then the Sazerac blends have that noticeable rye spice to me. I think they do. I just think probably Sazerac in general, not always, but I have found, got a lot more finding to do, but I have found that it seems like Sazerac does a little better job distilling and blending and aging. Oh man, you say, you're my enemy now because Elijah Craig comes from Heaven Hill. I hate you. Some people are saying that to me right now. I hate you and I hate your ass face. I'm sorry. I'm just the way I, well, but Sazerac, what do they make? Weller, Old Charter, Eagle Rare. They handle and even coordinate the Pappy Van Winkle. It's not like they make it nothing. You know what I'm saying? Buffalo Trace. So it's a personal preference issue, but I mean, I'm trying to be careful with this. I do not drink Sazerac whiskeys and pick up this weird melon thing. Okay. I just noticed that with Heaven Hill. Now, do I like Heaven Hill whiskeys? Yeah, I thought Elijah Craig was very good, and I thought the Elijah Craig, I thought that Evan Williams was good. It's higher proof than the rest. I thought the Evan Williams green label was actually even better, being that it's charcoal filtered, whereas the black label does not say that. Oh, and that goes back. I ought to make a response video, really, because the guy never did respond to me. He might have made a gesture with his finger or something, but he made this long, drawn-out video, and he was. I ought to do that. Not as an enemy thing or as trying to be mean or have a conflict, just to say you got to talk it out. You know, you got to work. He was saying, oh, people don't understand what bourbon is, and he went through this whole thing, and then. But I was thinking, well, wait, you're wrong too, because he was saying, well, since it's charcoal filtered, that means Jack Daniel's is not a bourbon; it's a Tennessee whiskey. Well, that's strange because. Do you know that Evan Williams is charcoal filtered, the green label, and it clearly says bourbon. It's from Kentucky, not Tennessee. See, but you got to read the rules carefully. If you don't read the rules, then you don't know. And if you don't know, you'll make mistakes. And he was saying he doesn't like it when a bartender says, "you will find," because he finds that's like a ugly way to talk. It's maybe a haughty way to talk or a obnoxious way to talk. Because he went to an airport bar, he said. I guess he was really trying to get rid of some money, right? Go to a bar room at an airport. And he said, "I want a bourbon." "Oh, we don't have any bourbon." They said. Now that story seems hard to believe. Like, right? What bar room in America does not have bourbon? Does that sound right? Does that sound like a real story? But maybe it's true. I guess anything's possible. But it does sound bizarre, honestly. But I don't want to, let's assume it's true. And then he says, "Well, give me," but then he looked and he saw Jack Daniels, old number 7. He said, "Well, he said, I want bourbon, so give me a Jack Daniels." And the guy says, "You will find that Jack Daniels is not a bourbon, but rather a Tennessee whiskey." And he said that set him off. He didn't like the way the bartender said, "You will find." And the bartender's contention was that since it came from Tennessee and not Kentucky, it was not a bourbon. And a lot of people are under that misconception that if it's not from Kentucky, it's not a bourbon. That's where it originated, yes, west of the Appalachian Mountains. And there's Bourbon County, Kentucky. But no, it can be from anywhere in the United States. As long as it's produced in the United States, it can be a bourbon. So can bourbon come from Florida, Key West, Florida? Yeah, it can. That's like virtually Latin America, right? But yes. Well, maybe Key West is not Latin America, but maybe Miami is. All right. But anyway, or it could come from Brownsville, Texas. But it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. All right. But the charcoal filtering has no bearing whatsoever on whether it's a bourbon or not. And I can back that up. That's just not. I should have kept that video posted, but Rajay was saying, "That's just your opinion." I say, no. This video is not called "What Do I Think?" It's called "The Fact." The objective reality. And the objective reality is Jack Daniels is certainly a bourbon. And they could decide today that they're going to start calling it bourbon, and there would be no, there's clear evidence of that. I mean, you can't argue that. You can't win. You cannot win. And the charcoal filtering is irrelevant. If it was charcoal filtered or if it was not charcoal filtered, would have no bearing whatsoever in any way, shape, form, or fashion on whether it was a bourbon or not. True story. You say, yeah, but the aging. Aging is important in this case, that it must be aged in never before used charred barrels. The length of aging, irrelevant. The length of aging, irrelevant. You heard what I just said? Now you're going to come back and say, no, it has to be aged at least 2 years. No, that's if it's a straight bourbon, which is a sub-classification. Straight bourbon must be aged at least 2 years. But to just be the simple word bourbon, there's no aging requirement. It could almost conceivably be aged 2 hours. Now, would it be clear? That would be the problem. I don't know how many people are going to buy a clear bourbon. But look at Redemption High Rye. It's so pale. And then you realize it says age at least 1 year. And you say, oh, no wonder it's so pale. It hasn't had enough time on it. Oh, well, enough ranting and raving. I'm not really ranting and raving right now. I'm just kind of like educating, so, but that's the truth. Now, you might say, you think you know so much. No, you could read it yourself. Just look it up on the Tax and Trade Bureau website if you have the patience. Read all the regulations. It's time consuming, but it's not difficult. And in fact, they don't speak in a way that's hard to understand. It's very clearly written. William Kepley can tell you that. Very clearly written. Now, there's some ambiguity in not the writing of it, but in some of the regulations are ambiguous about the flavoring and coloring as it concerns Scotch and Canadian whiskey. There's a little bit of a mutually exclusive problem there, but that's different. We're not talking about that right now. All right. These both contain bourbon. I'm almost certain. It tastes like they do. I have a feeling T.W. Samuels is using the Heaven Hills straight bourbon whiskey, which James P. Madonna said he likes. Didn't say he loved it. He said he liked it because it was $8 a bottle and it's straight bourbon whiskey. I think 75 South is almost certainly using Barton straight bourbon whiskey because that's aged at least 4 years. And this is aged at least 4 years. So they're probably just aging it and then mixing it with the grain neutral spirit and boom, they're selling it. I think this is the T.W. Samuels, and I'm ready to make my guess right now. And then I'm going to walk half a mile. I have to cut the grass later. You say, oh no, now this is a vlog. No, I don't like to watch vlogs, so I certainly have no intention of making a vlog. I'm just not going to get on the internet and watch vlogs. Hey gang, look what I did today. I cleaned my swimming pool. And I'm like, why would I want to see that? That would be like flipping through the phone book and just grabbing a name at random and trying to say, let me look at see what they do in their life. Can't get interested, but you might like that kind of stuff. I'm sorry, I cannot do it. So here we go. T.W. Samuels. This channel will be discontinued within 1 hour. There will be no more Ronald Terrio channel, nor will there be any more Louisiana beer reviews. Because I just looked underneath that and it says 75 South. And now I'm scared. Get Elon Musk on podcast. He could come on here and do a hangout. I got a lot of things to work out now. I mean, I was so confident. I don't know what to say. Maybe I'm dreaming, like I'll wake up and then I'll say, oh, I was sleeping. Now I'll do the hangout. TWS, that's T.W. Samuels. Yep, that's the word. Huh. So I thought the 75 South was T.W. Samuels, and I thought the T.W. Samuels was 75 South. Now let me think of something I could say that would make it not my fault. Let's see. No, it's nice weather. I can't blame the weather. The internet's clear. It's not choppy. I can't blame the server. It's probably hacked by Russia. Yeah, that was the problem. I think I had it straight, and then this hangout was hacked by Russia, and I was actually compelled to vote against my own will. Somehow, I knew it was correct, but then because of Russian hacking, I ended up voting for the wrong item. I actually wanted to vote the other way, and I wanted to choose the other way, but somehow I was terribly influenced by Vladimir Putin to vote the wrong. So, and I think the way we can promote peace is to fight more wars in Syria, and I think that would go along with the peace. I call it the Peace Through War program. Peace through war. That's the Washington, D.C. way. Blame crystal gems with a pumpkin. Yeah, you see, crystal gems infiltrated this hangout. This is Putin. How did you figure out it was us? Oh, sorry, Bucky. I blew your cover, comrade. Well, you'll have to come back as another fake account. Fake account. I got a lot of fake accounts that watch this channel. Good morning, friend. Have a beautiful day. You too, Bubblegum. All right. Interestingly, this is not a fake account. Actually, my account is really me. I use my own name and my own face, which is probably the problem, right? That's why I'm being infiltrated by the Soviet Union and Red China and the Bilderbergers, obviously the Bilderbergers. Do you have any opinion on the Kosovo versus Serbia situation? Oh, we better not go into that. Yes, I do have very strong opinions. Lost. L0 lost. But we've already gotten off track a good amount here, but it was fun. You say fun. I'm offended and I'm triggered. I know, but it was still fun on my end. But we would do a hangout about that. Yes, I was very involved in the Kosovo situation. Maybe too involved. Might have made one phone call too many in that case. Anyway, those phone calls tend to get recorded. But anyway, blah, 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 blah. Anyway, thanks for watching this video production. And in 3 days, yes, 3 days, we are planning to do T.W. Samuels versus the infamous, because it sure ain't famous. It's infamous. It sure ain't famous. Barton American blended whiskey. You say, oh, no, not Barton. Say it ain't so, Joe. It is so. It is so. Get ready, because it's going to happen. Now, will I fail as badly as this one? Well, that depends on how I get hacked. In my mind, my mind is clear, but my soul is mad. I hate all this. I hate it, but the man's I read poetry out loud in a voice. He likes you because you're still alive. He's got plans for you.